Not everyone waits for certainty before they move. People born between January 30th and February 8th, or those with a rising sign in this same zodiac span, express the core nature of Aquarius Decan II. This decan aligns with the Six of Swords, giving these individuals the ability to navigate disruption and uncertainty and to make safe passage through unfamiliar territory. The core nature of Aquarius Decan II blends intelligence, charm, and leadership into something steady and usable. People born here use Mercury as a mental navigator and messenger, thinking clearly and communicating in ways that help others understand direction and timing. During periods of change, they are able to choose their path deliberately rather than react impulsively. This reflects the Six of Swords pattern, where progress comes through guided movement and the ability to carry oneself, and often others, safely toward a better shore. This Aquarian influence supports early pattern recognition and the ability to map paths through change before others see them. People born or who have a rising here tend to plan ahead, adapt quickly, and guide systems forward through coordination rather than rigid control. Communication is a central strength here. Under Mercury in Aquarius, people born in this decan move ideas smoothly from thought into expression, using language to orient and guide. Speech and writing are purposeful, helping others understand both the present moment and the direction ahead. The essence of this Mercury-driven decan was demonstrated with remarkable clarity by two American presidents. The first, Franklin D. Roosevelt, born January 30th, used language to guide a nation through crisis. During the Great Depression, he leveraged his fireside chats to anchor a nation, telling Americans, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." It became one of the most quoted lines in American history, often repeated long after Roosevelt's name faded from memory. Decades later, Aquarian Ronald Reagan, born February 6th, used strategy and direct language to challenge rigid global systems, declaring, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." That statement signaled change through speech rather than force and became a symbolic turning point in the peaceful unraveling of Cold War divisions. In both cases, strategy and words functioned as navigation, guiding people through uncertainty towards systemic change. Natives born here, or who have a rising sign here, naturally blend vision with logic, allowing ideas to become workable plans. When intention, communication, and action align, trust forms and leadership emerges. The Six of Swords, which represents Mercury in Aquarius, captures this pattern clearly. Progress through steady, intelligent movement rather than impulse. It is appropriately called the Lord of Earned Success in the Golden Dawn tradition. In everyday life, Aquarians express this core nature in practical ways. Uranus seeks freedom and autonomy, while Aquarius governs circulation within networks. Work involving movement, flexible schedules, and independence often feels natural. Driving, transporting, substitute teaching, temporary work, or coordinating logistics allow freedom without rigid oversight. Aquarius Decan II can also express strongly through the homemaker role. In family settings, these individuals act as guides and connectors, helping children make sense of the world through clear communication. Mercury shows up in the way they explain emotions and changes in language that feel steady rather than confusing. Uranus appears in how they encourage independence, curiosity, and original thinking. People born between January 30th and February 8th, or those with a rising sign here, are also commonly found in community organizing and activism. Humanitarian values combined with leadership ability make these individuals effective at rallying people and guiding groups through change. Common expressions include community organizing, peer support, union representation, and nonprofit outreach. For example, Rosa Parks, born February 4th, embodies Aquarius Decan II because her quiet rebellion against an unjust system triggered a coordinated community response and led to systemic change. Others born here express this navigational impulse through freelance creative work, self-taught technical skills, or small business ownership. Evangeline Adams, born February 8, 1868, serves as a clear historical example of Aquarius Decan II. A famous professional astrologer, Adams fits that pattern precisely, remaining self-directed, mentally focused, and economically independent at a time when such a path was rare for women. In 1914, New York enforced strict anti-fortune telling laws meant to suppress practices considered unscientific or superstitious. Adams did not retreat or disguise her work. Instead, she challenged the system using its own rules. In court, she calculated the judge's birth chart and demonstrated astrology as a structured, rule-based method rather than intuition or performance. The judge, Magistrate John Fresky, dismissed the case, stating that Adams had raised astrology to the dignity of an exact science, and therefore her work did not fall under the fortune-telling statute. This is why she so clearly embodies Aquarius Decan II. This decan is rebellious through intellect rather than spectacle. Ruled by Mercury within Uranus's sign, it challenges authority by mastering language, logic, and systems. Adams did not overthrow the law. She outthought it, navigating astrology from forbidden to a recognized scientific practice. It is no wonder, then, that Aleister Crowley, a colleague of hers, named this decan Science in the Thoth Tarot. Across all expressions, the core nature remains the same. Aquarius Decan II operates through guidance rather than force, clarity rather than confusion, and steady movement through change rather than attachment to what no longer works. That is Aquarius Decan II core nature. If this perspective is helpful, take a moment to like, follow, and subscribe. Next, we'll look at how this same energy shows up in shadow. Aquarius Decan II is the Six of Swords crossing, except sometimes the boat leaves before everyone's emotionally on board. In shadow expression, or when the personality is under stress, Aquarians born here can experience rebellion moving faster than awareness. Change becomes reactive rather than intentional, and forward motion loses clarity and direction. When Mercury, the ruler of this decan, engages in its shadow pattern, thinking and communication speed up. Words harden, conversations shift from exchange to dominance, and confidence without balance can tip into self-importance where being right outweighs awareness of consequence. In shadow mode, Aquarian Decan II individuals may show one version of themselves publicly while thinking and communicating from a different place underneath. Charm becomes something that can be used, and disruption becomes the preferred approach. This is the darker side of Uranian energy, where rebellion against outdated systems or authority shows up as fracture rather than meaningful reform. As this pattern deepens, emotional distance can grow. Under Mercury, speech accelerates, criticism sharpens, and feedback is more likely to land as an attack than as guidance. Rebellion turns habitual instead of purposeful, and the mind begins replaying grievances, keeping opposition alive even when it no longer serves growth. The Six of Swords still rules this decan. Traditionally called the Lord of Earned Success, Aquarius Decan II succeeds through effort, skill, and Mercury's ability to navigate complexity over time. In shadow, however, those same strengths distort. Navigation becomes self-serving, and success is pursued without integrity. What should be earned through Aquarian mental clarity is forced through intellectual criticism and control. The result is often isolation and exile. This Aquarian shadow pattern can be seen in figures like Alice Cooper, February 4th, and James Dean, February 8th, where rebellion becomes part of identity and language shifts from connection to disruption. In both cases, Uranian defiance and mercurial sharpness push hard against authority, and when awareness drops, that momentum carries straight into risk and lasting consequence. James Dean's death while attempting to navigate his car at extreme speed is a near-perfect symbol of Aquarius Decan II in shadow, where Mercury's speed combines with Aquarian rebellion, and action moves faster than good judgment. The core lesson of Aquarius Decan II is not about stopping movement, but about staying aware while moving forward. When rebellion loses awareness and turns reckless, the energy slips into the fool reversed. Be aware that Mercury's shadow can be careless, tricky, and two-sided. Words wound instead of connect, communication grows defensive, and meaning splits between what is said and what is intended. Confidence outruns wisdom, movement ignores consequence, and although the crossing still happens, it leads to loss rather than true earned success. Next up in this playlist, we will discuss the card reading upright and reversed.